that the money or the accounts were not his. Okay, that the money, whatever money they found there, they are not his. However, on the other side, he is fighting to get all those stuff taken from him returned while the case continues. But again, it is just for a show. If you probably want to ask me to be honest, it's a show, but for the record, this is Nigeria, by the way. All right. So Malamu has also been accused of gun running. He's been accused of sponsoring terrorism. He's been accused of shielding terrorists. All the crimes that, if you compile them, means that this person hurts Nigeria, hurts Nigerians. And the worst place in hell or the worst place in your prison should be kept for people like this, but not in Nigeria. You have to steal so much. You have to steal a lot so that you'll be able to pay the best lawyers, pay the best money to the best lawyers. I had the protesters, those ones who are going to do solidarity for you. Let's send some other guys, pay them peanuts and send them to the TV stations to go and tell the world that you are innocent. All these things are just from the political enemies. Political enemies. None of these properties, none of this money, none of everything traced to this guy was ever owned by him until he became the minister in Nigeria. Minister, not state governor. So Malamu, therefore, is now being charged, no, not yet charged, okay? So he spent, weeks in detention, okay? First at the EFCC detention, then from there to Kuje prison. So he spent his Christmas, his New Year in Kuje prison, waiting to fulfill or to meet his bail conditions. The bail conditions that they said is quite stringent, right? That it became so impossible for him to meet, right? So he finally met those conditions 2 days ago, only for him to walk out of prison and then to be rearrested by the DSS. Why? So they found guns in his house and now they are charging him for gun running and terrorism as well. You get? So this was Malamu walking out of Kuje prison and then getting waylaid or ambushed by the DSS that rearrested him. Once upon a time, powerful Malamu.
Okay, who is your guy among you? Can I see your ID card to be sure?
So who is your boss? The man who used to be the boss. The guy who used to explain to us why people have to go to jail for whatever they said about Buhari's government. The same guy who ordered the freezing of the bank accounts of everyone suspected to be part of the NSAS protest, remember? He is also the same guy who shielded the killers, the murderers who killed Nigerians protesting in 2020, right? The NSAS protest. He's also not different from the same, he's the same guy who orchestrated the killings of the young and even the older Igbos in Igbo land, by the way, in the name of hunting down the Biafrans or the IPOB. This guy, you would wish that Nigeria should have that, the legal system to put people like this away. But Nigeria doesn't have that. Because if Nigeria's legal system is working, Tinubu won't be your president today. He won't be your president. But he is. And he is likely going to be your president until 2031. They fear nothing. It is like, it's more or less like Nigerians are more like conquered people who can only bark, but they can't bite. Complain, lament, but they will do jack shit. They will do nothing. And that's exactly how these guys are, treating you. You see thieves. And sometimes you just want them to be punished. Hopefully that the looters will stop looting. And you see the thieves fraternizing with the people that once told you that those guys were thieves, but now they are friends. So therefore, forget about that one. Look at another thief. Why these ones are busy? You know exactly what the former thief did to you. So it's just like a vicious circle, a rat race, catch 22. It just goes on and on and on and on. It never ends. And it is sad. You get what I mean? When morality is completely dead, and right now it is just about, more or less like a personal selfish interests. Institutions have been so compromised that people have become so almost like helpless. They are not really helpless. I think they choose to be helpless in this sense. Let's go to something else. All right. So Malamu is currently in the detention of the DSS. Unfortunately, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu used to be there before their Yankara court judgment that sent him to life imprisonment. Like, how do you send somebody to life imprisonment when you do not have any law, any part of your constitution, any part of your law that backs that up? But you still have to do it anyway because it's a script, yeah? So today, in states like Anambra, Abia, Ebonyi, young people came out, the IPOBs, they came out, one, to demand again for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the miscarriage of justice, the prisoner of conscience that they have locked up, and also to show their solidarity, right, to the Donald Trump's, actions in Nigeria. I'm going to take you to that one later, okay? But before we get to that, here, I have one. All right, I'm going to come back to that. So I have one here. This is Asari Dokubo, again under Tifnumbu, okay, lamenting the increase in the stealing of Nigeria crude oil. Remember that before APC, Egbekegbe came to power, Nigeria's refineries were working at over 50% capacity. Nigeria was paying less than 200 billion naira for this fuel subsidy, petrol subsidy, before these guys came in. And according to the reports, Nigeria back then was producing between 1.2 to 1.4 million barrels of crude oil every day. Yeah. And if you remember, one of the reasons why they had to chase Goodluck Ebele Jonathan away was because there was this $50 billion missing, $25 billion missing, oil money missing, all of that stuff, right? So they told us that the money being made from the crude oil under Jonathan was being looted by DSS and the rest of them. Sorry. So Nigeria was losing about 50,000 barrels of crude oil every day. 50,000, that's a lot, right? When APC came in, just like that of the Boko Haram issue, that Boko Haram that was so limited to the northeast of Nigeria, Borno, another side, right? So similarly, oil theft in Nigeria was limited to like 50,000 barrels a day. When APC, Egbekegbe came in, the refineries in Nigeria first, all the refineries in Nigeria that were working at 52, 55% capacity at the time turned to zero capacity, stopped working. All right? The stealing of Nigeria crude oil jumped from 50,000 barrels a day to over 750,000 barrels a day. Oil production, Nigeria's output shrank from 1.4 million at a point. Nigeria was actually producing less than 800,000 barrels a day. No thanks to this APC, but like Tifnumbu is doing right now, they continue to falsify figures to make themselves look better until they couldn't falsify anything anymore. So under Bukwari, because of this, according to them, to safeguard the pipelines, so they decided to award this 4 billion naira monthly pipeline security contract to Tatiata or something. Tatiata. That is Tompolo's company, the former militant that became government contractor, protecting the pipeline that is taking the crude oil from their land to God knows where, and they never get to see what the money from the crude oil is used for in their land in the Niger Delta. But it's very comfortable with the reward. So they ran that under Bukwari for more than 6 years. It didn't improve Nigeria's or increase Nigeria's oil production, still in looting. And you and I can't steal crude oil. You need to understand that. It takes some clips of roads plus the government officials for anybody to be able to conveniently steal a whole vessel filled with crude oil on Nigeria water, and it will sail out of Nigeria water successfully. Me and you can do that. So it was the people in government, right? So APC ran that scam on Nigerians for 8 solid years. Then Tinubu came, he started dishing out his own fake figure. Nigeria is going to be producing 2 million barrels a day, blah, 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 blah. I don't think Asari believes that, because from what he is seeing,
the oil infrastructure, it is the monies of the community that will be used in servicing and maintaining these facilities. So you now bring a complete stranger who is not from the area, a complete stranger to take care. But if there is an infraction, you now hold the communities responsible when they are not in charge of the pipeline. Who are those sick people in Abuja making this decision, insulting the people? Something they cannot do elsewhere. You can't kill everybody. That is the truth. You are in Abuja, you can't kill everybody. When the people rise up, you can't kill them. If they restrain themselves does not mean that they are weak. Get these people out of our land. You gave them pipeline, trunk line, federal pipeline to guide. Give them, let them go and guide the federal pipeline. The federal pipeline that no drop of oil is passing through. They want us to talk and expose the fraud, the monumental scam that is going on. NNPC, you can come and find out. They are partying. New Cross, they are partying. MALAMI Oil, they are partying. Aeroton, they are partying. Other companies are trucking. So this money they are paying to who? For what? For pipelines that no drop of oil is passing through. For pipelines that no drop of oil is passing through? Or is it the empty pipeline that are protecting with billions? Is it the empty pipeline that are protecting with billions? Now they are twisting and cajoling energy to give them those same pipeline. And by the time they give, those pipelines will not be functional. Where the gas line will pass. You move, you disrespect people, you move into people's community, you set up structures in people's community as if they don't exist. You use military to guide yourself, intimidate the people. When the people say no, this intimidation will not accept it, then it's peeled out of this thing. We're handling insurgency in the east, we're handling insurgency in the Middle Belt, we're handling insurgency in the whole of North Central, we're handling insurgency in North East, in Northwest, in Southeast. The only two zones that is quiet, that is peaceful, Southwest to a certain extent, and South-South, out of greed. Those of you in Abuja who are sharing this money, out of greed, you want to start unrest. You have not finished with the one that is putting Nigeria in bad light globally. You have not finished with that one. Yesterday, women were molested and beaten for saying you can't come into our community. Women. She was there yesterday. She was there. Look at her face. Look at the side of her face.
Nuisance lele.
Alhaji Asari or King Asari, because I don't even know what we're going to call him. He's Amayanambu of something, or Amayanambu of, I can't remember, but he's a king. Asari is lamenting. Number one, he said the pipeline protection contract, which is now worth over 5 billion naira a month. Wow. Tombolo is actually cashing out though. He's doing oil bunkering. And at the same time, he's the one protecting the oil pipeline. Nigeria is not a real place. So make I tell you, Nigeria have a navy. They have the army. They have different funny names of different security structures, okay? All of them are just existing. None of them could protect the critical infrastructures of Nigeria. The waterways, the oil infrastructures, you know what I mean? They can't. They have to give that to a militant that cashes out, that cash out 5 billion naira every month. That's 60 billion naira a year. That's probably is a chicken change. So to Asari, the reason why Asari fought openly with Boko Haram's regime and is fraternizing openly with Tifnumbu's regime, they are for the same reason. Asari felt slighted that instead of Boko Haram's government to divide the contract of protecting pipelines among them, Boko Haram gave it to Tompolo, denied him and others to. And according to him, most of the pipelines they asked Tompolo to be guiding, so many of them have not seen crude oil for decades. You feel me? Pipelines, we know they work again. That's what he's saying. He said, we will tell everybody the truth. We just say the truth, God damn it, man. It's an unreal place. Go real. A country, a sovereign country. A country, is a sovereign country, independent country. But yet, when you've opened it up and you start seeing things going on in the place, you just like, no, this can be a country. It is a country. It is Nigeria. So Asari is angry that our oil. Whenever Asari and his foolish other listeners want to put up their defense because they are from Niger Delta. So the reason why they do not want to be part of a Biafra was because the Biafrans want to come and take our oil. It's our oil that's why Biafrans are saying they want the Niger Delta to be part of Biafra. Ignoramuses. They don't own their oil. They don't. The oil in Niger Delta is owned by the owners of Nigeria, who usually meet in Abuja or Lagos to allocate those oil blocks, right, to their friends and cronies and all of them. And most of them, whenever they are visiting Niger Delta, where they claim to have the oil, right, they go there fully armed with military, this and that, and intimidate the locals. That's what Asari wants to try to say is defending. So when he was fighting Boko Haram, it was because he missed out. Then when he started supporting Tifnumbu, he thought Tifnumbu would break the contracts down or even give it to him. That's why he came out and he said, Tifnumbu is known Tifnumbu for years. And when they